If you really want to get over your ex, if you want to get your ex back, if you want to see if there's a chance that the two of you could work things out, or if you're just ready to get this guy out of your mind and your heart and everywhere you turn, well, I think I've kind of cracked the code on getting over your ex. And that means you have to stop punishing him. I'm Adrienne Everheart. I'm a dating and relationship coach, and I actually specialize in getting back scenarios and getting over heartbreak. I have a proven program called the ABCs to get him back. I'll link that below. I coach so many powerful dynamite women that are just stuck in time because they cannot get over their ex. You're likely very, very angry that this person has left the relationship, left you behind, and doesn't want anything to do with you. They have maybe even gone no contact or very, very little contact, or famously moved on from you very quickly. And so often our brains get really wrapped up in how can you be saying and doing one thing to me and be so wonderful? And we talk about our future and plans and getting married and having children to now, I mean so little to you that you can't even text me back. You can't even send me a happy birthday. So it gets really confusing and convoluted in the mind of someone who has a broken heart. So, first things first, I want to tell you that what you're feeling is perfectly okay. When something is out of our control, especially when it's an emotional thing that's been giving us lots of feel good hormones and chemicals in our body and our brain, and we've been promised a beautiful future, it's really normal to want to seek out and somehow fix that situation. You might feel so inadequate or like you really don't matter to this person when in fact you know you are a very valuable and much coveted individual. And so it kind of doesn't make sense to your brain. Like, why would this person who loved me so much and prized me one minute now throw me away when I know I'm really one of the best things that's ever happened to this person? The first takeaway with this is it's not going to make sense. I talk about how masculine energy needs to provide, pursue, and maintain. A lot of men can pursue you. A lot of men can kind of show up and provide for a little while, but they cannot maintain. And that's when a relationship ends. So, whatever you think that your breakup was or was not about, this is where blaming comes into play because blaming is ultimately a way to control your partner. If you find yourself stuck in a lot of anger, being mad at him for how could he do this to me? How could he treat me this way? How could he just walk away from me? There's a good chance you're really stuck in blame. And if you're stuck in blame, you're in this loop that you're not going to get out of until a new guy comes along and you get distracted, your brain gets distracted, something wonderful happens, or another big crisis comes into your life that so severely outweighs the current crisis. There are not a lot of easy ways out of this, which is no doubt why I receive emails and messages from women every single day who write me and say, I have been hung up on a guy for the last 2 years and I cannot get over him. I don't know what my problem is. So let's go a little bit deeper into blame and understand how your brain functions with the past and the future and where you are right now. So, in the past, you might really look back on this relationship and see so many beautiful aspects. It felt so wonderful. There were so many beautiful words spoken, and no one made love to you the way he did. No one talked to you the way he did, and his family loved you, or it was so intense. There was a lot of intensity, especially in long distance relationships. There can be a lot of highs and lows. So this is where I want you to look at everything that was going on in the past, however beautiful it was, and write down exactly what you were feeling. Now, this is important that you don't tell a story about what he did and just some unexplainable way he was. I want you to get real with yourself and find out what exactly was being said, what exactly was being done. So you can kind of tell the difference between limerence or something that feels very familiar and attractive to you. You kind of can't put your finger on it. It was the smell of his skin or the smell of his hair or how he would just look at you sometimes. It would just flip some switches inside your body and you really can't explain it. Now, you could spend a lot of time in therapy and possibly get to the bottom of some of these things. And look, if you've got that type of time, go for it. You'll know yourself better. But in the end, whatever it was that felt so magical, I want you to really understand in reality what was really happening. How good was this person to me or not? I'll give you a quick example out of my own life. I've spoken a lot about the artist, this man who very soon after my separation with my first husband came along, love bombed me, gave me all sorts of time and attention and devotion and calling me, and he'd get very upset if I didn't call him back. Meanwhile, my first husband, I mean, he wouldn't text me back for days sometimes, if at all. So I was really getting love bombed, and all of this dopamine and feel good hormones were just being set off like fireworks inside of my body. But yet, when the artist would hit a trouble spot or a sticky spot with me, he would abandon me. And one such occurrence happened about 3 weeks before Valentine's. And it was really devastating because he was like, I just think we need space. Back then, I didn't know to have a conversation with someone along the lines of like, are we still dating or not? Because I'm going to keep my options open. I was just like, yes, I will be obedient. If you need space, go take your space. I'll be sitting at home crying, trying to figure out what went wrong. Right. So that's exactly what I did is I really sort of retraced every step of the relationship, trying to understand and playing it over and over and over again, only to have him show up the day before Valentine's and want to take me out to dinner, to which he acted completely weird. I didn't even really have a good time, but I was just so happy to have him back that I maintained the conversation and I kept the conversation going. And, I made sure to spice everything up. So, this is a good example of how masculine energy was showing up a very particular way. And instead of being in my feminine and just receiving and going, how does this really feel? I was like, no, no, no. I'm going to be in my masculine. I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to carry him. I'm going to support him. I'm going to cradle him. I'm going to make this relationship work out. So often you look back on that relationship and it feels wonderful. And maybe there were some moments that were genuinely wonderful. But if it was really that great, the guy would have stuck around. Unless he's the type that loves to crush a powerful dynamite woman, which means they come into your life, they know it's temporary, and they really just enjoy being in that relationship with you for the moment. But something happens, they feel inferior, they don't feel good enough about themselves, or whatever it may be, and they decide to leave you because they know, and maybe they're narcissists, they know that this is going to cause you a lot of harm. Well, men like this are actually very insecure and they've got problems with women, and they're the ones that are actually punishing women in order for their own ego to feel better or just have someone pursue them or crave them. Look, it's a sick, twisting thing when you really think about it. So, what I want you to do is get very clear about what felt good in the past and what is feeling good right now in your life, and then what you're hoping would have felt good in the future. So, that's a little thing called potential. You can blame your partner over and over again because they didn't believe in the potential of the relationship. You can blame them for not trying hard enough, for not showing up, for telling you one thing and then doing another thing. Or adult you can be in reality. And reality is here in the present, where you are conscious and aware that you're blaming someone for what they could or could not do instead of accepting it. You're blaming a person for how they treated you instead of accepting how they treated you and making a decision about where you're going to go with your life. Remember, we can't control the cards we're dealt in life. We can only control how we play them. He might have at one time went all in with you and given you everything only to walk away from the game. You really can't control this type of person and you cannot blame that person. You can be angry, you can be upset, and you can grieve. But at some point, you have to drop the blame. This person owes you nothing. They came into your life, and it's up to them to leave your life. You want to set your own self free by dropping blame and letting go of any blame that you have for this person that they have done you wrong. They left the relationship. They might have left the relationship in a really bad and nasty way. They didn't contact you. Some part of them has to know that's devastating you. You can be angry about that. You can be angry that people like that even get to walk this earth for one more day. You can get all caught up in that misery and blame and being a victim. Or you can say, I'm going to accept that this person doesn't think I'm the greatest thing on earth, and he's willing to walk away from that. I'm going to be okay with that because I want a man who loves me, thinks I'm the most beautiful, wonderful thing ever, and is committed to me fully without any doubts. So often, while we're busy blaming the man, we're actually blaming ourselves too. And in that process, you let go of your identity and let go of who you are, and you're no longer standing strong in your power. This is where feminine energy is absolutely your best friend and guiding force in this process. I teach you more about that in the ABCs to get him back. Now, in the ABCs to get him back, I do lay out a protocol that helps you understand some time and some certain things that need to happen in order to get your ex back. I give you about a 3-month time span to do this. So, no matter if you broke up a year ago or just yesterday, when you go through this course, you learn how to rebuild you. And that's the most important part of this is that when you're busy blaming someone and angry at someone, you cannot focus on lovely, amazing you. Going forward, this is where you need to work on communication with both yourself and the man. So, feminine energy is about communicating with yourself. It's about knowing what you're feeling and what does or doesn't work for you, no matter if this is your dream guy or if this is a guy you might just casually date. You want to be able to treat all men the same. So, just because a man's income or looks or muscles or how he makes love to you or how amazing he smells, that he doesn't get any special treatment because your feelings don't change whether it's the hottest guy on earth treating you bad or a guy you're not really attracted to. Feminine energy is about finding what you feel in your body and being able to communicate boundaries with the man and also with yourself. I want you to have a loving, long lasting relationship that leads to marriage where you feel respected and admired and cherished, not where you have to work or prove or remind someone that you are worthy of love. Your emotional well being, your personal growth, and your freedom as a powerful dynamite woman happens when you let go of blame. I don't really so much want to focus on like, I forgive you, as much as I'm just going to stop blaming you. I'm going to let go of this blame for a little while and I'm going to redirect my thoughts and my energy and focus it back onto myself. So I want you to start small, but remember, a lot of this is retraining your brain and getting it out of that loop of problem solving. Again, your brain cannot solve emotional problems. Only you can provide yourself with some tools and methods to get you out of that habitual thinking and blame game so that you can get on with your rich, juicy, beautiful life. If you want to learn more about my ABCs to Get Him Back program, remember, it's as much about getting you back as it is the guy. I'm going to have the link for that below. I hope this video has been helpful and gives you some peace of mind and helps you cultivate a life where overall your well-being is the most important thing. When you're stuck in blame, that's just not going to happen. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.